Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday. We're going to be working on another build today. I thought, you know what? Let's get a utility truck. Just a utility truck build. I'll put it up there. With I saw that on if you guys play emergency response, there they just introduced a utility truck, their bucket truck. Now I am gonna prove that I had the bucket truck first. I'm sure other games had the bucket truck too, but Blue Truckin' City had. There it is, right there. Okay, that's the bucket truck. That's the one they have in Liberty Response. So I thought, you know what? So I went into the toolbox. I found this little truck here. Okay, it's broken, doesn't have lights on it, nothing like that. So we're gonna go over it completely. We'll go through a chassis. We'll get like it kind of works, but I'll go through it completely. Go through this one, and we're gonna turn it into this thing, which I thought would be pretty sweet. Just a telescope. So we're gonna be using prismatic constraints on this one, the pivot, and just a few more things than we did in the last one, and I'll go through all of that here. So I'm guessing the first thing that we're probably gonna need. Looks like it has a platform, and then everything sits on top of the platform there. So it came with this. I think this was a tow truck or something like that. And then these cones. We're actually going to keep these cones because I have a placement system that I made in Blue Trucking City, which I want to use so we can place the cones. And I'll probably make the placement system part of the truck. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll make it part of the truck. And that way it'll be like an all-in-one, same thing, plug and play, all-in-one. Yeah, so something like that. It has these, I don't know what's inside this gas tank or something. Looks like battery. Alright, so we can make those open and close. We can make, this one's good because the doors also, I can take the whole door off, so we're going to make the doors open and close when you click on them. Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing we can do is we can get the bed started here. Right out like that. And we're gonna build the bed as one. It's gonna be one big model. One big model. So this here, let's make this probably diamond. And the color we were going with, it was kind of an orange, right? That truck there was kind of like a light orange. Dusty rose. We'll do that for now. It's a bit more orange. Oh, maybe I have to customize it. Bright red. Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't red, it's orange. We'll have to do one of these. There we go. Sure, something like that, right? It has a decal. So for the decals, all you need to do is you just insert an object, and you want a surface GUI, and then we want to insert object, a frame inside the surface GUI, and then you should be able to see it. If you don't see it, I think there it is on the bottom. If you don't see it, then when you click on it, it'll say where the frame is. Where is it here? This one. It should like be front, back, style, visible. What's going on here? Oh, it's a screen GUI, not a surface GUI, that's why. Insert object. Surface GUI, insert object. Frame. Now, you see where it has the face of it? Back, left, right. There, so that's the right side there. So there we are. Okay, and you click on your frame, it shows you the solid. For our size, it looks like we're probably 10. Yeah, we're probably 10. Maybe 11. Oh, really? 13. And then by, I don't know, what is that, 500? Okay, just like that. 1,000. Oh boy. There we go. Right? Something like that. And then inside here, we can go insert object, your image label, and then just make sure that the image label is the same size as the frame. The frame, this is just a good reference, right? And then your image label. We can do that, for example. Now, I'm going to open a published game. So you have to publish the game in order to be able to add graphics and stuff, decals and all that sort of stuff to it. So we have to go into a published experience. I think this one here is published. I should be able to add to it, I think. Some tools, some of the tools I've made, all these things into different tools. So we can take this truck. Not even, I just want the part. You just need the part. And then because there will be a blank placeholder for the image label, see just there's a placeholder here, and you can say add image, choose file, and then it lets you upload if you've published the game. And then I have it, this is the truck decal that I went to Google and I just looked up truck decals. And just give that a moment and it'll populate. Bingo, there we go. And then you can copy that and you can go back into your non-published game and the decal will be there. Just like that. Really easy, you know, you just go to Google some decals, print screen. I mean, if you got Photoshop, you can do a really good job. I don't have access to Photoshop, but if I did have access to Photoshop, you know, you can make these a lot higher quality. And then you just have to duplicate the Surface GUI and then change it from right to left. There we go. And you can duplicate it again if you wanted to. And then this could be, is this the front or the back? Back. There you go. But then we would have to change the size of the frame. Probably to like 500. Oh yeah, like that. 495. And that means this image label becomes 495. Just like that. Ha! Now we have decals on here. That's right. That's pretty sweet. All right. So we'll get into that later on. And then now what do we have here? Looks like we could get. Let's do the feet. Let's do the feet. The feet's usually a difficult one. So where do we want the feet to be? So we can scale this sort of like that. Let's make this yellow and let's make it metal. And if it comes right out here, let's see. And then all this stuff, you want to make it massless, especially while you're testing it. Otherwise, it'll crush the vehicle. All right, so we'll duplicate that. We're going to get rid of the weld in there. This is going to be the legs. So if we scale it to there, and we're going to make this black, and this can come out like that. Yeah, so first what I'll do is I'll build all the constraints, and then when we design the user interface, that's when I'll program it. But probably what I'll do is I'll just use a prompt. Seems to be the easiest way to do it, is just use a prompt. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate that. So something's up. I don't know. It just looked a little. All right. So now what we need to do is a prismatic constraint. Basically, an elevator. You can think of this as an elevator, and we can go to there. So what we want to do is we want to rotate this constraint and this constraint here. And now we'll take this is our starting point. All right, and basically what we want, oh, then this has to be can't collide false. And we'll make this one can't collide false. And this one we will temporarily anchor. Okay, and you know what? This we could actually temporarily anchor that part too. So now we go into the constraint here, and we set it up. Actuator type. We'll set it up like a motor. No, we'll set it up like a motor, and then that way, if we say limits enabled, that tells us how far we want it to extend. You see how the upper limit is 5? We probably want to make that 4. And then that way this doesn't fully leave the yellow. So let's just try that. Let's try velocity at 0.5. And let's see what it does. Oh, you see how it's going the other way? Cool. So our velocity should be negative 0.5. No, then our upper limit has to be negative 4. There we go. So just like that. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, so then we'll do the same for the other side here. Now, just something to note. Once it stops, we're going to be adding code. Once it stops, you're going to say the velocity. What is it? Velocity. Hold on a second. This one here. We'll say limits enabled, and it can be a motor. This one can also go to 4, but it'll go to positive 4. Yeah, you see your motor acceleration? So when it stops, velocity is going to be 0 and acceleration is going to be 0, and then you'll have a weld in there, and then you want to turn the weld on. And that way it'll stay and it won't move around and it won't act all crazy. If you don't turn the acceleration to 0 and the force to 0 and the velocity to 0, and then you try and weld it together, you'll fly into space. It's just the way it is, right? Because it's trying to resist itself. I've tried this many different times, and that seems to be the result I get every single time. So if you're wondering when you're building a crane or something and it's not quite working, it's flying away, usually, oh, it's anchored. Usually that's why. But we'll go over that when I add the rest of the code here. Right now I'm just testing to see. So the legs are going to come out. Let's try this again. 0.5. Oh, it has to go the other way. Weird. It's like they're both inverted. Yeah, we're off center a little bit, looks like. We're off center. Something like that. All right. So now attached to these feet, you can just have something like this. And then inside here, we'll have like a cylinder. Right, we're basically making a hydraulic at this point in time. It's the hydraulic that will see from scale that a little bit like that. This doesn't need to be that big. I'm just curious about the clearance. That might not actually be good with the clearance. All right, we can make this part black. And then metal. And then we'll duplicate that. We're going to make this part gray, white. Okay, and now this, you can do that, and this one here. Oh, actually, before I do that, because I'm going to take this and put it on the other side as well. All right, and now we just need a foot. We need a foot for it. Let's see. It should be an alright pad size, I guess. And then this could be metal. Okay, and then we will duplicate that here. Let's see here. We'll scale this. Doesn't quite, you know, like. There we go. And then let's get a cylinder here. Something like that. Duplicate it, scale it here. Oh, excuse me. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to put something in the middle there. There we go. Okay, and then we'll take this. We'll duplicate that. Rotate it this way. Sure. Awful. Awful. I'm not an engineer. That is for sure. All right, so that's kind of our pad. There we go. There's our foot. Okay, so then we just need a few of these. Like that. Now the foot can either, it'll probably hang there. So what we want to do with that is we want to make a hinge between here and here. want that to be. Oh, can I not zero it? What's that? Oh, not the position. Whoops. Oh, I need to rotate it now this way. So it swings that way, is that right? Oh. Yeah, that works. So I'm going to take that. Okay, and then now what we need to do is we need to attach another prismatic constraint. Between here and here. And we'll take this position, and that position, and then what we'll do is I will temporarily anchor this part so we can test it. Now this has to be rotated. And in here, this has to be rotated. All right, so we'll say limits enabled, and we're going to turn it into a motor. It's going to move down, let's just say, let's try 2 for now. That might even be a bit much. I'll try 1. 0. Let's try that. This needs to be way more centered. Well, that works. So all it has to do is come down like that and touch. So then if we take that and we unanchor that, and then if we weld it to there, and then this one here, if we weld that to there, let's see what happens here. Cool. So that's tall enough. And then what you would do is you would have a weld. So once it comes down, it just welds the bottom to the top, and that way it doesn't compress. So when we're up there in our lift and we're spinning around, we have a little, hopefully the truck doesn't flip over. But if that's the case, we'll test it, and if that's the case, then we'll just anchor a part on the truck, and then the truck itself is anchored, and then we can spin around, and it really doesn't matter. But that's cool. This works just for effects, right? And then now we can take this whole thing, and I want to group that together. All right, and then we're going to rename that leg. Okay, we're no longer close that. All right. So then we take this leg here, and I want this. Get rid of that weld. Cool. Just like that. We can group that together. Excellent. And that's the model there. Take that into there. Cool. Just duplicate that. I think that's right. Let's take a look. It's been a while. Yeah, one on the back, one on the front. So now that we have the feet kind of on there, very cool. And now this, what's this anchored? What is this anchored, right? It's welded to there. And those are connected constraints. Okay, so this one here, I think we just need to weld. All right, now if we press play, all four of them should open. Very cool. And the truck is actually surprisingly stable now. Nice. So that's kind of part one. Part one, we've got the legs going. So the next part really is building the arm. Building the arm. What's our runtime on here now? 30 minutes in? Not too bad, not too bad. So yeah, so we need to build this. I guess I could put these decals on too. Let's see. Let's go over that real quickly. So I'll just go to Google, and then I just look up like truck safe decal, and then I just go to images, right? And then I should put like oops. DLT decal or something. Reflective decal. Could look at trailer decals. Trailer decal. High visibility. Hey, there we go. Okay, high vis. So we can take something like that, but we want. Well, they've got. There's those. If I could take, let's see, maybe part of that. Yeah. All right. There it is. Go to green. Perfect. Right. Then if you have Photoshop, that might be. Together, then I've got that, which is no big deal. So we just, all I do is this, I just go print screen for me because I don't have Photoshop, and I just come in here and I'll just paste it in here and I'll crop it. Right, like we could crop this much of it. Save as JPEG. Always save them as JPEG. And then that way, when you save them as a JPEG, they're not as large, right? They're not as large. So if somebody's in your game and they're downloading it, and they're playing your game, it's easier for the decals to load when they're JPEGs versus PNGs or anything that's, it's going to be quite a bit. Okay, so take this file, open from Roblox, go back into my other game there, where I can import decals. Now, anytime you upload decals, if you go to through Roblox into your Creative Hub, you can see all the decals that you've uploaded into the game. So just because I'm uploading them here doesn't mean I can only pull them from that experience. If you go into your toolbox, you'll be able to see them. All right, and then what I want to do is here, same thing, we just insert a surface UI. Just like that, insert frame. And then we'll change to the left. There we go. It seems like this is just a little bit big. 60 by 110. Perfect. And then we can insert object, image label, and we will make it perfect. And now the image label. Should be truck decal. Wherever it is. There it is. Yeah, that's cool. And then we can make the background transparency on this frame like that. And then we can change the size of this to like 40 maybe. 30, and then its position just like that. Except this one is going to be on bottom. Just like that. All right. Oh, I think I had this one temporarily anchored, didn't I? It was temporarily anchored. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so if I unanchor it, see how far it extends. Yeah, the whole thing needs to be massless. And you get the best performance. Yeah, although the legs. Have to crank the force up. Oh, we can make them infinite. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what we gotta do. And we'll do this with code later on. then that way it'll pick it up. It'll pick it up. It's the only way. Otherwise, it won't be able to pick it up. So you got to adjust that, your forces there. Even though it's massless, it should still, you know, pick it up, right? There we go. Yeah, that's cool. So, and now because they're a bit tall, what we'll do is we'll just make them come out. Same thing as we do, right? Push the button down, they come down, release the button, they stop. And that way you'll just be able to come down to where the ground is and then lock them into place after that. Oh yeah, that's nice and stable. That'll be perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, because this is probably where it's going to be on the truck. If I weld it to the truck. That's that stuff there. If I weld it to the truck and then move back just a little there, probably. Yeah, see, to lift the truck up off the ground. That's cool. And that way we're nice and sturdy. Neat. So the next part of this will be we'll have to build the mount for the pivot here. So this here is going to be massless, and we'll create that to there. Let's scale it out a little bit. Something like that. Let's see here. Oh, so this part is probably fixed, and then it lifts up and down and telescopes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this is probably fixed. This part here. Oh, actually, this won't be welded. This will pivot. It'll be a hinge. No. Let's see. Attachment, and then I'll change this into like a plate. We'll have to design it into a big plate or something. And that from there. There we go. All right. So this part here, massless and well, to there. Okay. So it comes up. It'll come up to about there. And then what does it do? Oh, it doesn't. It just comes right back on an angle. Like that. Hmm. Yeah, I guess something like that could do. We can make sure it's massless, and this can weld. This is just part of the base. Duplicate that, rotate that, move that. Because what I'm thinking is this comes up and then where are we here? It just kind of comes up to there to make that sort of little shape. I don't know. Maybe like that. Sure. This is homemade in the workshop. So we can do something like that. Big old spikes on it. Just adjust it a little bit. Sure, okay, and then from there, we just need to get another part here. Actually, we'll delete that. What I want to do is we'll make it into a cylinder. And then I'll go over, like, you know, it's just modeling right now. And then what I'll do is I'll go over it and add color and the graphics and everything. See if we can make it, you know, change the material type, whatever. Right now, we're just kind of free forming whatever we want this thing to look like. So it's going to be, you know. Let's see, something like that. Put that to there. That can be massless. We'll take this, and this. We're going to group that together. This will be the arm. Crane arm. And then that. And all of that. Legs. Perfect. All right, and then from here we just need our telescopic boom, basically. So if I was to imitate that, let's get a little bit of music going for the last part of the stream here. I'll just try and imitate that, and then we'll see where we're at, and that's probably going to do it for part 1 of the utility truck build. Let's see, make the main part of the boom. From this truck here, probably be like that. Of course, this would have to be bigger. Right, so this part here is just going to move, it's going to pivot up and down. And I mean, we can either have, I'll probably just use a hinge in here, and we'll attach it to yeah, maybe I can get a cylinder in here, but we'll see. Anyhow, so that's going to be like that, and then we'll duplicate it. Let's see, 1, 2, 2. Is it 3? 1, 2, 3, and then the basket. One, two, three, and then the basket on top of that. So this would be the basket attachment right there. There we go. Something like that is going to be our truck. I'll just anchor that for now because I'm pretty sure this is all welded. It's all welded into there. Cool. So that's going to do it for part 1 of the utility truck build. In part 2, we will finish off the arm and we will add some of these accessories, right? We'll have to look at the details on the arm. See if I can figure out how to get the hydraulic. It looks like if we use a hinge there and a hinge here, the hydraulic can kind of move with the arm. And then that way we can, you know, we'll just try and add to it like they have there, right? That's cool. So this will be able to pivot 360. This will go up and down 360. It'll have a basket on there. They'll be able to access this stuff. Right on. So that's going to do it for part 1. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.